morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're watching PNT. I'm your host, wondering when we're all going to do something about it. Up front this week, according to multiple sources online, scientists in Poland have discovered gruesome evidence of our prehistoric past and our place in the Ice Age food chain. Archaeologists from a university in Krakow excavating a Neanderthal site in Siemna Cave found remnants of the finger bones of a Neanderthal child that had lived and died more than 115,000 years ago. What was unusual about these bones is enough to chill the blood. Upon further examination, the scientists discovered clear evidence that the fingers, and presumably the 6-year-old child attached to them, had been through the digestive system of a bird. A very large bird. While the Neanderthals shared the Ice Age world with many species capable of making a meal out of men, the archaeologists state that they cannot say with certainty that the child's death was due to the attack of an enormous avian, or whether the bird scavenged the remains. Besides being remarkable for having been a snack, the bones, though being over 100,000 years old, are also some of the oldest known evidence of human life, with other remains found in nearby caves previously dated to 50,000 years old. While PNT cannot help but marvel at this remarkable archaeological find, we also cannot help but note the reciprocity of time and the fitting irony of a giant Ice Age chicken feasting on an order of human fingers. Can we get fries with that? From Denovian dinners to cosmic coincidences, our next story takes us from the pumpkin patch to the far reaches of outer space. According to a NASA press release, a 2,000-foot wide skull-shaped asteroid is due to pass close to the Earth just a few days after Halloween. First discovered in 2015, the hulk of space rock was designated Asteroid 2015 TB415, although astronomers quickly nicknamed it the Great Pumpkin due to its resemblance to a human skull. Discovered on October 10, 2015, the Great Pumpkin passed within 302,000 miles of Earth on Halloween night. Only able to make limited observations after their initial discovery, scientists have been patiently waiting for TB415 to swing back our way, predicting that the object will pass within 25 million miles of us on November 11th. Scientists have debated on the origin of the Great Pumpkin, with most feeling that it is likely the core of an ancient comet that has lost its coating of ice due to repeated orbits of the Sun. While it will be quite a while until we see the Great Pumpkin again, with the next appearance of the creepy orbital object not expected until 2088, at least now we can rest easy knowing that poor Linus's unwavering sincerity and yearly dedication in the pumpkin patch has been vindicated at last. For the final part of our weekly roundup of the weird, PNT is pleased to bring you a fresh report drawn from the MUFON database. Taking place last month in Alberta, Canada, the footage appears to show at least 6 dark objects moving in formation over the witness's house before disappearing from view. Let's have a look at the footage.
Where are they? There they are. Where are they? Oh my god. Oh, you can't see them. What the hell is that? There you go. Fuck, I'm glad I found them. Holy shit, what are those? What is that?
So what were these objects captured on video moving through the skies over Spruce Grove in Alberta, Canada? With there being at least 6 individual objects, drones seem unlikely. The objects do not seem to move about independently, maintaining a steady formation throughout the length of the recording. The kind of synchronous flying seen here is not impossible, as recent displays of multiple micro-drones have shown, but these technologies are still relatively new, expensive, and would likely not be able to hold position against the wind currents found at these altitudes. While it would be possible to emulate this formation of objects with balloons, as we proved in our last episode with our TR-3B experiment, it would be difficult to achieve the frame solidity and movement speed of the objects seen here. Commercial aircraft seem unlikely, both due to the apparent lack of noise and the fact that commercial craft seldom fly in formation for obvious safety reasons. While one can never fully account for the deep well that is secret military research projects, here again we run into the same question that we found again and again in these cases. If these are military test craft, why test them openly above a major population center? So, with drones, balloons, commercial air traffic, and possibly military aircraft accounted for, what does that leave us? At first, PNT was puzzled by the shape of the formation, appearing at times to look like that of the letter T, until we took into account the movement of the formation. Far from being a T, after looking at the path of movement, we quickly saw it was, in fact, a V formation. This gave us a strong indication that what we may in fact be looking at here is little more than a flock of birds migrating, perhaps Canadian geese. Peak migration time for geese and other large birds is from September through October, squarely within the time frame of the incident. The witness states that the objects appeared to be egg-shaped, which the body of a large bird would appear as at a distance. And there is, of course, the fact of the V formation. But there are also inconsistencies present in the case that cast doubt witness conclusion. First is the fact that the witness himself states that the objects were flying west to east, not the path that a flock of migrating birds would take. The lack of change in formation is also another puzzling feature of the case. The objects seem to move in a rigid manner, rather than the free-flowing nature birds in a V formation would show. Another argument against the bird theory is the altitude that the objects appear to be moving at. Knowing, however, from our own experiments in a previous episode that size can be extremely deceptive and difficult to determine, it is possible that these objects could be much closer to the ground than they appear. But it was the final observations of both the witness and our own analysis of the footage that provided what could be the final nail in the flock of birds explanation: the lack of any apparent head or neck, tail, and most especially, wings. As can clearly be seen in this zoomed-in picture of the object versus multiple pictures of geese and large birds in the V migratory pattern, the objects in the video appear to bear little resemblance to an actual flock of birds. At least, birds with wings and heads. These facts, taken altogether, do seem to puncture holes in our most rational explanation. So, as can often be the case, we're left only with the tantalizing possibility that the trail of logic has left us: the unknown. Could this be some small force of extraterrestrial craft? Some unknown phenomena? While we may never know for certain, PNT must reluctantly admit that we cannot conclusively identify these objects, leaving them, for now at least, classified as true UFOs. But whether these objects caught on film flying over Canadian airspace are part of a secret military program, a flock of headless, wingless, migrating birds, or something else entirely, we'll leave up to you to decide. Sound off in the comments section below with your thoughts. That's it for this time, faithful viewers. Be sure to click like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified when PNT presents your next portion of the paranormal. I'm your host, reminding you to keep an open mind, because a closed one shuts out the truth.